Who the hell plans ahead? Who the hell plans ahead, you know? A lot of people do. Actually, I was pretty surprised how organized some people are. Like how on point they are, you know? In my ignorant self, in my ignorant days, I have been pretty ignorant and I've been pretty enclosed inside of the box, inside of my own existence. I'm not too ashamed to admit that. And even right now, it seems like that's what some people want you to be or think you are. And that's kind of almost like it's almost like a game smart people play, you know? Who's in the box? Who's ignorant? Who's not aware? Who doesn't know? It's the nerd extravaganza, of knowing things, of being on point, of being able to have that cutting edge reliability, which offers an opinion in the form of a very high quality product in what you provide people in videos. And, you got to start thinking a little bit differently. People are always instant gratification. There's a lot of people with a problem. Like you have a serious problem. And it's funny because a lot of people don't get that. They don't really understand what the hell is happening. They can't see what the hell it is they're doing. They haven't been doing it long enough to discover what the hell it's going to take to get somewhere. And I don't think everybody has to. Not everybody has to take this stream. Not everybody has to have the same comprehension. And whether I think they have to or not, or I'm wrong and they're right, or this is what you should be doing. People are just gonna kind of do what they do, and so like a lot of the time, it's like, why am I even trying to offer an opinion? Why am I even trying to say anything when the only people who will listen are probably the people who already have it together, and then the things that I'm saying are probably useless to them. But I don't think that that's necessarily true. I don't think that the things I say are useless. I think they can be very useful to people, especially to have a real individual to listen to, or someone who's like not just some crazy person, or someone with such erratic behavior, or just like someone with just like this huge addiction to something, whether it be their misbehaviors or another person, or the love that they have for themselves and the way that they are, and their inability to break away from that to really communicate in a different way, indeed a different person. And that's kind of the whole idea of it, isn't it? Is when you love something, why would you change it? Why would you think differently? Why would you operate outside your comfort zone? You would have to be crazy. To do that, you would probably be traumatized, like me, traumatized by the world and all the social encounters I've came to experience in it. But there's one thing I've noticed is the long term, the long haul. But you're gonna change. That's the thing. But you got to be able to stay in it when you change, because you're going to change, then you're not going to care about something. You're going to think differently. So that ability to stay on the wagon is pretty difficult, honestly. You know, it's pretty crazy how much people change. Like, really, like you could know someone and then like few years later, man, they're so different. They're a different person. If you look at someone when they're young and you look like like any person, like two different photos of a person like 10, 20 years apart, like they're almost unrecognizable. So what you look like now isn't going to be necessarily what you look like later. But I guess if you're really popular, then everyone will know what you look like, so they're probably paying attention to every little detail, so it's kind of hard to tell. It's like, it slowly happens over time, and then you eventually look like a whole different person. But you won't notice it because it'll subtly change each day, a little bit more and more. Like getting better at something, like getting better at this, just talking on the camera and stuff, you know. It's been a minute. I took a break, man. Took a break. I don't know. It's good to take a break, but I am in it for the long term. I am here to make videos and be interesting and do stuff. But I don't necessarily want to do a video on every popular trending topic that hits Google Trends. Because that's what some people do, is they're just looking at that long list of Google Trends, and that's actually what you want to do in a certain sense, because people want to hear you talk about current things that are happening. I mean, that's the stuff that's trending. That's the things people are interested in. Might as well roll with that, right? But if I did that, I would just be a news anchor, and I've done that before. You're essentially just a news recycler. You know how many news recyclers there are online? Man, there's so many of them. But as a person with comedy, a funny person who's trying to be funny, it's almost better just to integrate the whole news anchor technique, because then you get to be able to, you're able to combine it in a different way. It's a damn genre. It's a damn travesty. It's a damn predicament. But yeah, so I could try to combine it in a unique way. But a lot of people have already done that. A lot of people are doing that. But I don't think everyone's brave to cover every topic. You have to be a variety. Be a variety topicist, That's kind of the thing. But on another note, I'm here to talk about outliving the germ. Thinking long term, outliving the germ. And I think that's the biggest problem that people run into. And it's almost thinking about a relationship. Did you ever really think about the relationship? Did you ever really think about it? Did you ever think about the relationship you have with the video game? Maybe you don't play video games, but it's kind of funny because I was thinking about video games as a girlfriend, right? Because it seems like some people are so desperate and so lonely that they cater and cuddle with that video game every day because it's the only thing that really gives them a warm sense of relief when they're just this enclosed person who can't get a date because they're so antisocial. That's not me. I'm totally comfortable with being antisocial and enclosed inside of my isolated mind, thinking all of the things that I can think, almost like I'm in some kind of escape room. Can I think something ingenious enough, put it on camera, to escape this glass, to get out of this glass? And by that I mean to get out of the situation I'm in. Like I'm in a straitjacket. Like I'm in this impossible kind of puzzle room and I'm never going to get out of it. Is my brain unique enough? Am I unique enough to live up to the task to get out? And it's like, well, maybe, but I don't know. If you just kind of like made a couple video, like scribbled on a piece of paper a couple times, maybe that's not gonna get you anywhere. Maybe you'll have to like grind it, rip the paper up, really draw, man. Draw so much you don't even care what's on the paper. No, I've done that before though. You don't want to rip the paper to shreds, okay? Keep the canvas aligned, keep it okay. Okay? You get it. You get the metaphor I'm trying to lay down here, but you know, committing to the long term is crazy. But if you think a lot of people, I think eventually your brain kind of hits a nerve and then you realize that. You realize that. But you have to be in love with what you're doing. That's the thing, man. Just like relationship. Just like with the video game. Some people will play the same game like their whole life. Did you know that? Until like how long are you gonna play this game, man? Like 10, 20 years? Jesus, it's rare. It's rare for a person. Actually, the people that actually have very long marriages, it's more rare the longer they are. You know what I mean? So if you apply that to anything else, it's kind of the same. But it is kind of true. It's like some video games to me are kind of just like an ex girlfriend that I dated. And it's like, yeah, I don't like her anymore. We have problems. I could I could use very I could use some explicit voice there, but you get it. But what I'm trying to say is, I think when it really comes to anything online, no matter what you're doing, the longevity of it depends on how much you're willing to commit and how much you really are willing to foresee in the future and really plan ahead and really, this is what I'm doing. This is what I love to do, because sometimes you just fade out and you're not in love with it anymore. Like me, I was writing a lot of horror for a while. I was writing a lot of poetry for a while. I published a lot of poetry books, independent horror books, and then I started doing joke books, and then I started doing some fan. So I've written a lot of different little books and stuff, okay? And I'm thinking to myself over here, I'm like, is comedy just a phase or is comedy the one? And I think comedy is the one for me. You know what I mean? It is the one, but I need to be able to synchronize that and make it work out. It's just like a relationship. It's just like I'm married to it. That's what you really got to do. You just got to commit. A lot of people don't realize that, or they're not able to, or maybe their marriage is just one of those ones in shambles. Like it's like a forced marriage. Like me, I don't feel like it's a forced marriage. I just feel like it's like, we're growing together. I don't I don't know. I've never been married, so I don't know. It's terrible from what I hear most of the time. But people will tell you great things because they don't want you to hear all the negative, terrible, so suffering. It's pure suffering. I'm just kidding. But yeah. I mean, thinking long term, and it's kind of the funny thing, man. If you think about someone being a musician or someone being a writer or something, you have to think long term to outlive the dream. Like you have to be able to commit some time into this, man. You gotta be able to do it. And then some people they're like, I made one video, why didn't I go viral? Dude, are you really thinking this through? Most people don't think it through. Most people like get inspired, get influenced, and they go make something and they're like, oh shit, man, what am I doing? Why didn't it work out for me? Well, you just haven't been doing it long enough, man. I mean, you're just not. It's hard to accept, though. It's hard to accept. Like me, I've been through a lot of different phases, and I'm like, man, it's hard to accept that. Like, this is not that good. This thing that I did, like, maybe it's good, and I don't care. I'll post it on the internet. I'm the type of person where I'm like, whatever, dude. Screw everyone. Like, if you don't like it, screw you. But you know what? I'm pretty damn decent. But yeah, you gotta think long term, and then you gotta just grind that skill to the bone so hard, unbelievably, impossibly. Like it's an impossible challenge. Like you're never even. It's like trying to attempt something you're never going to succeed, which is amazing because then you can always try to be better when you're probably never going to be good enough to be successful at it. And that's the entertainment industry. So maybe think it through. You know, I think eventually everyone does. So if like I tell you that, like if I told someone like you should think it through, you should really think this through. Like a band, if you want to be a band tour stuff, you know how much you got to do for all that. Man, Jesus, that's why no one succeeds at it. There's too much things you have to do. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.